journalists who become authors often confess that being authors was their first love and that journalism was just a stepping stone. Sometimes they say that being authors was the next natural thing after being journalists. Our guest today is a trained journalist with media experience. She's a poet, she's a communication specialist, and she has a YouTube channel. And on top of that, she's a published author. Her name is Wanjiru Thuku. So Wanjiru, karibu sana.
Asante.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Thank you for gracing us.
Asante.
What are you reading at the moment?
At the moment, I'm reading something I've actually not read before, a political book, Histories of the Hanged by David Anderson. Yes.
So it's a political
book. It's a political book. Apparently, I've not done any political books before, but it's something I just, was looking for something to read this time around. So I went to my husband's library. He's a political fellow, so he has lots of history books that you can think about. All of these that are coming up now, he has all of them. So there's one that caught my eyes, the Histories of the Hanged. I was curious, what is this book about? So I just learned it's about, the Mau Mau revolt. I know my grandfather was part of that. And so I really needed to know what.
So you are a Thuku, the Thuku?
And not exactly. No, Thuku is my husband. Okay.
Ah, right.
He's my husband. So what I'm saying is I just saw Histories of the Hanged. Okay, and so I read the blurb, and there was something about, David Anderson covering stories about Mau Mau, and I was like wondering, who is this Mzungu who has so much information about, the Kenyan Mau Mau revolt, and I really needed to know what that was about. My grandfather was part of these people who were fighting for the freedom of our country.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so nilikuwa nataka kujua, what is this that these people are doing in the forest, what was involved, because it's something that began in 1952, right? So what was happening? The emergency began in 1952. So I needed to know before that what was happening until we got to this point, because we were living with the British, right? So what happened so that the war now began?
And the book tells about that.
Talks so much about it, how it happened, telling us about how Harry Thuku was sent away from Nairobi, and does
that make you sad?
No.
No?
I like people who fight for their rights.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We got that.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a lot. Like when I read your profile, it's a lot of stuff. And then on top of all you do professionally, you're a mother of 3 energetic boys, all very young. Yeah. How does that work?
How does it work?
How do you organize yourself? How do you get time to do everything you do?
I think in life everything is about understand. I think that for me, having 3 boys in my house, I have to work, I have to do so much. I think the first battle is always won in the mind. I had to rearrange my mind. Now I have 3 boys who are very energetic. They're all over and doing everything, literally everything, littering my house, making me go. I'm actually a blue person. Blue people are very organized. So when they come and disorganize,
what's color got to do with it?
Oh, color. That's what can I say? It's a personality. We have the blues, we have the reds, we have the yellows, and we have the greens. Okay. So what I'm saying is that I'm a blues. I tend to be a little bit organized. So when you have these 3 boys, they're very young. My firstborn is turning 7 this year. Then I have twin boys who just turned 3 years. So you can imagine that age bracket.
Yes.
It's chaotic. Yeah. So I think it's just rearranging my mind, realizing I have 3 boys in this house. How do I start my work? When do I end? How do I, they get sick.
So you schedule.
So you have to schedule. You have to schedule your day and your week and your month or whatever else there is.
Okay. Yes. What time do you sleep?
Since my firstborn was born in 2017, the earliest I have been to bed is midnight.
Midnight.
Yes.
Okay.
My mind has just gotten used to that.
Okay, so you're good. It's not like you're sleep deprived or anything.
I'm not sleep deprived.
Okay.
Not at all, yes.
So I need to tell our viewers that you're the author of Dawn of Fortune. This book is it's a romance book and a bit of thriller in it. Yes. And then it's for young readers. And then you have How Gesto Became an Environment Champion. That's your latest book. It's because as it suggests in everything that is for very young readers. So let's go to Dawn of Fortune. Dawn of Fortune is set in Ghana. My first question to you is, you lived in Ghana?
Never.
Have you been to Ghana?
Actually, no.
So what is that about?
That's a question I encounter all the time. And people will be
so.
like, Wanjiru, you are so traveled. I'm not. I've never been to Ghana. But this is the thing. I traveled to Austria. I was there on student exchange. So I was there for some time. Austria, Vienna, that's where I stayed for some time.
All right.
So there weren't so many blacks. If you go to Vienna, you realize we have Vienna is a very small city. Even Austria itself is very, very small. So in Vienna, we have very few people. And the blacks there, by the time I was there, they were very, very few. Apparently, most of them were Ghanaians and a few Kenyans, but a majority were from Ghana. There were some from Nigeria. So what happened is I interacted so much with these people from Ghana, and I fell so much in love with them. Actually, I nearly got married to one of them. I would be in Vienna. Apparently not. So I interacted so much with them. I fell in love with their accent. You know, that heavy accent. I loved it. Plus, those I found there, I can't generalize, but they were really, really nice people. Right. So I interacted so much with them. We hung out together and all of that. So that's how I got my character.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so these places you described so vividly. Were they places they described to you, or did you make that in your mind? Do these names of villages exist? How did you go through that? How did you write that?
So I did a lot of research before writing this book.
Okay.
You'll notice that you traverse between Ghana, there is Rwanda, and then there is Kenya.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been to Kenya. I was born here, raised and bred. Everything is Kenya for me. Yeah. But I haven't been to Rwanda. Everything that you find about Rwanda in that book is totally true from the scenes and everything. It's Rwanda, everything is Rwanda. So I did a lot of research for the book. But for Ghana, it's also researched, but the names I had to create. Okay? Like when you talk about a hospital, you want to be a little bit keen with that. So I did a lot of research with scenes and all. So when it is so vivid, interacting with these people now, it's somebody I met with them. I talked to them about Kenya. They know there's somewhere called Kibera, there's Nairobi, and all of that. So somebody will look, how is Nairobi like? We have YouTube, we have a lot of content online.
Have any of them read it?
No.
I would like,
but I would love to hear.
Yeah, that would be interesting. So you haven't had any Ghanaian give you feedback on this?
A review? No, I haven't. But I really wish I could have the capacity to get this book to Ghana, to get this book to Rwanda, because I want to hear what these people have to think about the book. Yes.
But your friends know that you wrote the book?
Yes, but now these guys are all the way in Austria, you know.
Austria.
Yeah, but you know, we have Amazon, we have all those kind of stuff.
Yes.
So I really hope that
I hope they do, and when they give a review, let me know what they say.
Definitely.
Tell me about Dawn. Dawn is a very interesting girl. She's got it like not dealt very nice cards at the beginning, but life. Tell me about Dawn. How you created this character? Dawn?
Ami. Her name is Ami.
Ami, sorry.
Yes. So Ami is a Ghanaian name. Okay. So mine was structured. Okay, part of it was you always say the first book you write, 90% of the time is your personal experience. Right. I was never forced into early marriage.
Not true for me though, but go ahead.
Okay, for most, right? Okay, for the book, like the entire book isn't for me. Right. But when we get to the romance part of it, I think partly yes. Yes. Okay. So there was that period. You know, this book actually is a COVID baby. Lakini, it's not to mean that it was written. This book I started writing kitambo sana. I started writing this book in 2016. No, not 2016. Sorry, 2006. What? I was in Form 2. Right. Yeah. So, but we'll get to that. But so. What was your question again?
About Emmy. How did you create
the character? So there was this period where girls were getting pregnant a lot. They were getting pregnant. Hajamaliza shule, but during the COVID time, you remember there was so much laxity. There were no schools. There was nothing going on. Boredom and all of that kind of stuff. So we had a high number of girls getting pregnant. So that Ami was a character created from that. This book has been changed like so many times. Yeah. So over this
like
COVID period, yeah, from the first draft, it has been changed, like changed. Yeah. So Ami is this girl who is being forced into marriage by her parents because, you know, currently it is unlawful to marry off your daughter before she's by the age of 18, before she's an adult. Okay. So for Ami, her parents wanted her to get married so early. But she had dreams, she had visions. You know, life is not just about getting married, sitting down, waiting for your husband to bring you stuff. It's about determination. So I wanted to create that powerful girl who is after taking care of herself. You know, you don't have to wait for a man to feed you, a man to do stuff for you. You can do it for yourself. Prove your value, and then we shall value you. So that's the character I really wanted. She comes out very, very strongly. She knows what she wants. Anajua Kenya anataka. I don't tell you move right. You know, you're following the right direction. Unajua you're moving right. When life hits, she still rises and moves.
Okay. Yes. Have you got young people reading this and getting back to you?
Yes.
How is that?
It is very good. Actually, this book has a lot of very, very amazing reviews. You go online, you just search Dawn of Fortune. Look at the reviews that are there. Beautiful reviews. Actually, the first review I got from a very, what can I say, the person who reviewed this book, first person who reviewed it and gave me the blurb that you see at the front there is Linus Gitahi. He's the chairman. Right, yes, he's the chairman of DTB.
My former boss also.
Your former boss also. So he reviewed. Guess how old he is at the moment? How old is He's nearly 60. Yeah, so I would say this book, he says this book is for the young generation, but anybody can read it.
No, I did read it and I actually did enjoy it. Yes. My children also enjoyed it. They read it very many months before I did. Yes. But yeah, I can see what you mean. I really did enjoy it. So there's this one. And then how did Justo become?
How did it become? Okay, have young boys. Okay, so we have this one for young adults, Dawn of Fortune for young adults, and even for all the people who are young at heart. Because the book, I would say, Dawn of Fortune is between the ages of 16, 17
to whatever
age, to whatever age. Okay, so I needed to create a reading culture for my children. I wanted to show my children that you need to read, because through reading, then you get so much. Somebody said, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. Okay, so I wanted my children to have a reading culture. They wake up, they want to read this book. Mommy wrote a book, I want to read it. Okay, and then again, there's a nephew who challenged me. My nephew challenged me when we launched Dawn of Fortune in 2022. This is what he asked, because I said he's in Mango Boys right now. He's doing very well.
He's grown up.
He's grown now. That was back in 2022. He just joined high school. So he asked me, Auntie, why can't you read this book? And so I told him, you know what, this book you can't read because it's for adults. You're not there yet. When you're 18, I told him 18. When you're 18, you can read the book. You're going to enjoy it. Okay? And so I told him, he asked me, why did you not write a book that I can read? My brother can read. My sister can read. And so I told him, one day, and I promise you, I'm going to write a book that you will enjoy. He challenged me. That is how that book came to life.
Okay. So why did you pick up the topic, the subject?
The subject?
Environment,
Environment. My husband is an environment champion. So I wanted to show him that we actually headed on the same, towards the same direction.
So this is personal.
Yeah, it's personal.
Nice touch.
Yeah, he's an environment champion. He's planting. I love what he's doing, by the way. He's just moving around, planting trees in this beautiful nation of ours. And that's really commendable. Okay, these are the people we need in our country.
That is true.
The Wangari Maathai is, by the way, Wangari Maathai is from my village. It's just a walking distance to her home. Yeah, in Tetu. Yeah, where I was born. We just from the same. You know what she did? The planting trees. So my husband is doing the same thing. So I picked. This book is not about environment. The environment. It's just one story that was picked and put on the cover.
They decided that
Justo is my son, so I adopted his name.
Oh, nice.
His name is Justin.
You must be very proud of it.
Very proud.
Has he made his friends read it?
Yes, that's cool. He carried that book.
Okay. Amazing, amazing. When do you write? I know you said you sleep at midnight and everything, and kind of you schedule your timings and everything. But is there a time when everything is working right, quote unquote? Do you have a preferred time to write? Or
Yes.
do you write by, you feel like?
By default, okay. I have a preferred time. I work with, do you hear how quiet this place is? That is my peace. It's my moment of peace. So if I find a place as quiet as this, my mind is able to just ooze a lot of
So the timing
stuff.
doesn't matter?
The timing does, because as I said, I love it quiet, very quiet. So during the day I'm working, there's so much going on, there's too much noise everywhere. So for me, night hours, I told you I sleep at midnight. Usiku, so past 9, the kids are asleep, everything is quiet. So during that time, I can just focus on writing. Yes.
Do you write every day?
Well, I write every day because that's what I do for a living. Yeah, so I write every day. So not for the book, but...
Oh, okay. So apart from the books and everything, what else do you write about?
What else? Okay, I am a freelance writer.
Right.
So I write for businesses and all of that. Like they want to market, you need a buyer, you need stuff like that. That is what I do for a living. I also do a lot of health articles for different houses. Okay, like Kazini, we have the health business and all of those. So I write. That is what I do, like on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yes.
Given between writing for business and writing fiction, what would you pick?
That's a tricky one because I love writing. So
so it doesn't matter
it
for
doesn't
you
matter,
what you're writing for.
As long as just let me research. I love researching, by the way. If I can research a topic, and I will give you the best. The best work you've ever seen, because I love researching. I love it when it's quality and professional and all of that. Yes. Yes.
What's next?
What's next?
Fiction.
Fiction. Yeah.
What is it? Is there something cooking right now?
Yeah, I'm thinking around poetry. And when people who have read this book hear that I'm actually focused on poetry, they're gonna be mad, because they need another one. They need a continuation of that.
That is true.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Actually, my children told me the same thing, to ask you if there's a sequel to this.
There's a sequel. It's coming, but I think I'll go the poetry way first. Yeah.
So between poetry and this, I'm still trying to make you pick something.
You're still trying.
I'm pushing.
The story is really amazing. It is, but you know, as a writer, sometimes you get hit by the writer's block. And you know,
too often.
You know, I told you, I'm a blue. Blues tend to be perfectionist. It just comes naturally. So I want that book to be really good. If you've read that book, it is perfect. It is beautiful. It is amazing. From the flow, from the grammar used, from literally, there's no single mistake in that book. Yeah.
That is awesome. I wasn't looking for mistakes, but maybe I should read it again and look for mistakes. Maybe I should look for that.
You should.
Okay, so tell us a little. Have you tried to have this book maybe taken by KICD?
I have, but you know, let me say it's tough. Let me just go back a little.
Yeah.
This book has been reviewed by several people.
Right.
Book reviewers, Lagales, I'm not sure you know him, but this is what Lagales said. This book is fit to be a set book.
I think so.
Yes, it is fit to be a set book, but the literacy, being the literacy that we have right now, it becomes very, very tough. But here's the thing. In 2008, my set book was Coming to Birth by Oluthe McCoy. Oluthe published her book in 1989. But when did we have it as a set book? In 2008. I still have hopes for the book, but I don't mean to say that it will take as much time. But I still have hope for it.
You just have hope that it will happen.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
someday.
it happens.
Yes.
How are the sales, and how do you sell your book?
How are the sales?
You don't have to give me specifics.
Yes.
But is it something that you can be proud of? Is it something you think you could do better? Which is your biggest channeling for sales, and that kind of thing?
Yeah. So, writing is tough.
True.
Was tough for me. Let me speak for myself. And selling has as well been very tough. Unajua.
Yeah.
Because when the moment you become a self-published author, then everything falls on you.
True.
You have to look for avenues to sell your book. You have to look for people to sell your books to, and all of that stuff. So I will say yes, I accept that it has been very, very strenuous. Yes.
But can you sit back and say, phew, at least I made some money out of it, and you know?
You know, don't let me speak about Dawn of Fortune, because that is the book that has been had the most fortune. Yes. Yes. We launched the book in 2022. Yes. On that day, we sold over 70 copies. Beautiful money,
Yeah.
amazing. And you pocket that and
I'm
you
doing
walk home.
calculations in my head.
Yes. So I walked home saying, now I am thinking on focusing on my book, because 70,000 in a day is not small money.
It is not bad at all.
It is not bad at all. But guess what?
Yeah.
Reality struck. Told me, you cannot focus on a book. Because for me, let me just say, I love writing. So even when this book doesn't like sell, I am not disappointed, because I did what I love doing. You see?
Yeah.
So yes.
So your biggest avenue, because this is the thing, yeah. We have people like Nuria who we are forever thankful for, because they've bridged a gap that was so wide open.
Yeah.
But I also know Nuria will once every 3 months give a review. You know, they'll give a list of the best-selling books. Yeah.
Yes.
But why I ask this question is that because I know some people who sell very well do not make it to that list because they don't necessarily sell through
directly
Nuria. Yeah, they have other avenues. Sometimes they would prefer to sell for themselves most of the books. So I'm wondering, has yours been? Have you pushed more through Nuria and others? You'll tell us if they are available elsewhere or through yourself.
Okay, I would say that Nuria is doing a very, very good job.
Yeah.
But one thing, like I said, it's important for writers to understand that the most Nuria can do is sell your books.
They're a bridge. Yes. They're a stopover.
They are a stopover. So most of the work now is on you. So I've also sold, I think most of my books go with foundations. Yes. So that's my biggest avenue. That's my biggest avenue.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
And for the kids' book schools.
Yeah, even that one, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So were there mistakes that were so glaring the first time you looked, the first book that came out? And you were like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Did you have?
Yes, I did. As much as this book is beautiful, and I can tell you it's beautiful, I don't tell you something is beautiful.
And I love it when somebody has such faith in their product.
Yes, I have so much faith. I will go and tell the highest office, get this book. If it is purchased, give it back, or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, the mistake, I always say the mistake I ever did when I was coming into the market, I had no marketing strategy. Zero.
Yeah.
None. So, you see, when you sell 70 books in a day, then your mind tells you this is the route. It's going to be flowery. It's going to be amazing, beautiful. It's not. So I had no marketing strategy, and I really wish I had done more before coming into the market. Yes.
Like what?
Marketing strategy? No, I have a book. I think it's nice. Then after that, you just tell people there on social media, guys, I'm a published author, blah, blah, blah. By the way, I sold so many books. In the first year, they were going like hot cake, let me tell you. But you exhaust your sources. You exhaust the people around you. After they are exhausted, after that, that is when reality starts to hit you. You didn't have a plan. You thought now, I have so many friends. They're going to buy. They're going to tell their friends to buy. Yes, they did. But then after that, I wish for this book, I'm saying, somebody with the reviews given, this is a good book for high schools. It can go to colleges and all of that stuff. How about now approach this? What is your strategy from here on? Yeah. So that is
have you done any of that? Have you followed any of your advice?
Yes.
And it has worked?
It has worked.
So you've approached schools, you've approached corporates, and it's
corporates not yet, but schools.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it has worked.
It has worked.
Okay. So get the bull by the horns and do that, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think about people who do the serious sales online, because it takes a lot of energy? Do you think you have that kind of energy? Because, the more noise you make, The more you sell, actually, even if it's
yes.
out of the 100 people who will see, one of them will. What do you think? Do you think you're that sort of person, or do you think it takes a certain person?
Yeah, let me first beat the drum for you.
Yeah.
Shuko, you're the first person who told me you cannot sell if you're not making noise online. That's what you told me. And I started making the noise, and the book started moving. They started moving.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I don't like talking to people who don't talk to me. But apparently I realized that is not the case. The world is ruthless. You'll talk to somebody, they're just looking at you, they're reading your content, but they won't say nothing.
That is true.
Yes.
That is
so just keep moving. Get 0 likes. Continue.
That is true. You don't write. Actually, what I tell people is that when you engage in online, you don't do it for likes. Sometimes the likes come, and it's okay, because sometimes it's good, because you can see you're making, at least somebody's listening to me. But if you only write because you get likes, then you're not doing anything, and you're not going to make any impact, because the same people who saw your post that had hundreds and thousands of comments are the same people who saw that post, but they did not comment for whatever reason. Everybody is at liberty to leave any trace of their presence or not. But the other trick is, out of like 100, only about 10 will maybe engage you.
And let me tell you something, Shiko. Having those posts doesn't care. There are people who will say, good job, congratulations. They'll never buy your book.
Oh, yeah.
But listen, the people who come to your inbox, these are the people, they didn't say nothing on your post. They didn't comment. They didn't even like, they didn't say anything. They just came to your inbox and say, how much is the book?
Yes.
And they buy.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
so
the
that's
lessons
what keeps
you
me
learn
going.
as you go
As you go. And the more you mature, I don't mean by age, the more you mature online, then now you just close down. You don't care at all who responds. Just keep moving. If they respond, they respond. If they don't, they don't. Somehow, somebody will come across your post somewhere and they will buy your book.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's a beautiful lesson. How do you wind down?
How do I wind down?
How do you wind down?
I love dancing.
You do?
Dancing is everything. So if I get a good dance, that's how I wind down.
That is, you're a happy girl.
I'm a happy girl.
How does that work when you have so many children? Okay, it's not so many, but you know what I mean. In a world where we are only getting one child, 3 is many.
You know what I say? Don't get kids and then start giving excuses. Oh, I can't come to your event because I have kids. These people were there before the kids came. Events were there before the kids came. So let not the kids be the excuse for why you cannot do something. There's always a way where there's a willing, where there's a will, where there's a willingness. Yeah.
And I can tell people that she actually does turn up for events. So turn up for her events, please. Tell us a bit about your YouTube channel. It's a bit of it's on health. First, why health, and how is that going?
Yeah. Why health? When I was growing up, I was still in primary school. I wanted to be 2 things. Every evening I would want to watch the news because I wanted to watch Catherine Kasavuli reading the news. She looked so poised. The way she read the news was so captivating, very easy, it's flowing and beautiful. I loved that. Then there was Ken Walibora. Ken Walibora also was very, very good. I've loved languages all of my life. And from there, I remember I told my grandmother, because my grandmother is one who raised me. I told her, one day, I want to be like Ken Walibora. I want to be like Catherine Kasavuli. I want to be a news anchor. Then, at the same time, I also wanted to be a nurse. My mom was in the pharmaceutical world. She was a pharmacist. And so there's this neighbor of mine, mom to my best friend, Paris. So she always told me, you look like you'll make a very amazing nurse and all of that. So that got into my head. I allowed it to get into my head. And so I wanted to be a nurse. I wanted to be a news anchor at the same time. So yes, that's how, you see now I'm a journalist doing health content. Yeah. So again, I love it so much when I can help somebody. See, if there's a way I can help you, I'm not a doctor myself, but I can access this people. You see, if I go to Oluga Uma, for instance, the KMPDU, now with the Ministry of Health, let him speak to you. What is it? What are your rights as a patient? Unajua? Because sometimes you go to hospital, you'll just sit there like a zombie and you're just listening to the doctor talk and talk and talk. You don't even ask questions. So he comes in and tells you, ask questions. Don't just sit. He has recommended for you medication. What medication are those? They have not even been written on the sachet that has been given to you. What is that medication? What are the side effects? What are you supposed to do as a patient? If this persists, what are you supposed to do? Let him come in and tell you. That is the most I can do. So I love helping people. I love positions where I'm able to serve. Yeah. Actually, yes. I've always wanted to be in the customer care service because I love helping people. What can I do to help you? Yeah, so that's about health. I'm so much into health. Anything, if you tell me if I drink whatever concoction, it is so bitter, I will drink it if it will come and help my body.
Would you like to be remembered for Wanjiru, the author, Wanjiru, the health journalist, Wanjiru, the communication specialist?
Yeah, I think I would like to be remembered for all of those. I would like to be remembered. I'm not choosy. I want to be remembered because all of them make a lot of sense to me. When I write this book, it's not, it's for entertainment, but you read and you come, you get something out of it. Yeah. So first of all, for me, if you're going to ask me, what do you love to read? Yeah. I will tell you, I'm so much drawn to self-help books, self-help. You know, psychology of money, you know, how you're supposed to use money in this kind of way, in that kind of way, you know, a lot of stuff like that. Then we're talking about colors, yes? So I want to understand, why do people behave the way they do? If I look at you, Shiko, I can tell what you're like, what is your personality? I'm able to tell because I have read widely around that. You know, I'm surrounded by idiots. Reds are always surrounded by idiots. Nobody does what they want because Reds, you know, these people get angry all the time. They're too strict with everything and all of that. Maybe you have one of your cameramen who is always, you know, pushing you too hard.
Awesome. The crew is awesome here.
They're awesome. So you find you always have a read somewhere. So that's the kind of content. So for my book, what do I want to be remembered for? You know, there's so much that goes on to a society. Dawn of Fortune is a book that you read and you feel like this is reality. You see, I want to be remembered for bringing change to somebody's life. You know, through my writing, through my channel, I want to be remembered that like somebody who brought change around the health sector, you know, and all of that. Now, most important, I want to be remembered as somebody who stood for somebody. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me a little bit about your stint as a journalist.
When you get to a place you saw on TV as a young girl, that is a dream come true. So for me, I learned a lot. I've been to the International Press Institute. I did print journalism there in Vienna. And so I learned a lot. That's why I'm able to write so well. Yes. Yeah, so that's exactly. I learned so much.
Because you're talented, you know that?
Yeah. I guess.
Because you're talented.
Perhaps.
Is there something like, I know the process of publishing is quite gruesome and it's painful. And it can be character development and disappointing and tears. Did you go through any of that, like maybe a disappointing printer or designer? What are the challenges that you encountered?
Yes. When people who have been disappointed by this process are asked to stand up, I'll be among the first. Because when I was in campus, our then VC, Dr. Gatara, he's the one who introduced me to the first publishing house. So these people are ready to publish my book. And I was so happy. In campus, that would be amazing. Apparently, this book was so tiny, it had 50 pages only. And I thought I had conquered the world, you know? So they were ready to publish my book. Yeah. Alafu sasa, they tell me they're going to charge me $500,000. From where? $500,000. Nitoe wapi? I'm in campus. So every semester is over 60,000, sometimes 50,000. And now here they ask me for 500 shillings. I gave up.
For what? What was that?
For doing, you know, I think they just looked at my small book and they decided this one, the grammar, this one no. Then we're going to have to relate the whole stuff, and then we are going to have to add, because this is not even a novella. This is too small, 50 pages. Yeah. So I think Waliona, we're going to strain with this book.
Yeah.
Let's ask her for the money. Ni sawa tu ningepata royalties and all of that, but that would not. It would not be enough. That wouldn't be enough. Then I have given up. I have put my book back into the locker and just thrown the keys to the sea, to the river, or to the ocean, whatever. I've just forgotten that. I just decided, let me just finish campus, nipate kazi, get a job, and then we can think about the book. Somehow I forgot about it kabisa. I forgot about my book. Then later, I remembered there was a book I had. One of the traditional publishing houses. I talked to somebody, told me, just submit your manuscript. We're gonna go through it, and then we're going to give you feedback. I submitted my manuscript. Ikaka, 6 months down, 7 months, 8 months. I texted. I just emailed them and asked, "Hi, how is the process? How far are we?" And so they tell me almost immediately, we have a lineup of work. You know these traditional houses deal with the academic works. So mine is just a novel. Who is it even helping? I mean, just stay. We are going to work on it.
Tulia.
Oh, Tulia. So I tuliaed and I waited. 1 year ikaisha. I decided, what am I even doing? I then remembered there was an Alex Nderito. I knew him from through his sister.
Yes.
Through his sister Caroline Nderito.
Caroline,
She's a poet. And you know, I'm also a poet. I did a lot of spoken word poetry. Sana. That is why I am so much in love with Don Ouma's Morning Shall Come. I read that book so many times because his works resonate with mine. It's more of spoken word. That is what I do. Excuse me. I do spoken word poetry, stand-up. So that's what I used to do in St. Andrews. Nilijulia Caroline through those stand-ups. So she introduced me to the brother. The brother happens to be an editor. He's a published author and stuff like that. I called Alex and he told me, just deliver your manuscript. And so nikamuliza, how long will it take for this manuscript to become a book? And he tells me, it will depend with your work, but just send. In 3 months, we will be done. Because right now, I'm not so occupied. If the work is good, nikamtumia. But sorry, I should have said, that was during the COVID period. It took me 6 months. Nikakumbuka my manuscript that I sent to the traditional media, to the traditional publishing house. I went through the book from the scratch, Ciku. I went through it from the scratch. Kutoka huko juu. Wrote it, changed literally everything. From the names to kila kitu. Yeah, all of that. I rewrote it. It's a big book now, right? All of it. In 6 months, I was done. Nikatumia. That is when I called Alex. Akaniambia nitumtumia, he'll have to look at it. If it's good, then it will take it around 3 months and I'll have the book. So nikamtumia. He went through the book. In 3 weeks, I had feedback. Wanjiru, your work is very good. We are going to publish it. And there we were. He worked on the cover and stuff. Actually, Alex will tell you, these were his exact words. When I read your book, it sounded like a movie. I felt so good. It was so refreshing. Yes? So I felt really good. So that's how we came up with a book.
Okay.
Yes.
At least you had good backup because Alex is super awesome.
Yeah.
Could you please read a passage on your book? I don't know what passage. Just pick a passage and read about 2, 3, 4 paragraphs.
Okay. It was around 1:30 when Amy hurried out to meet him at the parking lot with her head down as she tried to pull the drawstrings at the top of her handbag. She had not seen the man staring at her right in front of her. Hello, he had called out as soon as she passed by him. She still had her name tag on, so whoever it was probably needed her assistance. Amy stopped in surprise when she turned towards the voice that had called her. Clouds of confusion sailed in her mind. For a moment, she wished she had not stopped. The man looked taller, broader, more handsome, and highly tempting. The intensity of his gaze made her shudder and blush at the same time. He looked neat and stylish, and Amy thought there was only one word to describe him: irresistible. Amy tried to open her mouth, but no word came out.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. But before we let you go,
Yeah.
please, pick anything to talk to us about. You got about 2 minutes.
For any upcoming author, the industry is beautiful. Don't listen to people who tell you it's not working. It just needs you to work hard on your end, market your book, speak about your book. Don't be ashamed to talk about your book. Just keep going. And then not just about book. If there's something that you need to do it now. Don't wait. Don't be that procrastinator who keeps saying, I will do it tomorrow, I'll do it next year, I'll do it next week, wherever. No, start now, because whatever you start now is what really matters. And if you're able to help somebody, do it. I help people, I don't lose anything. You don't lose anything by helping somebody who wants to write, okay? If you are able to guide somebody through writing and how they can market their book, don't hold back. Asanteni and all the best in life. Buy my book, A Dawn of Fortune. Find it on Nuria, or just hit my inbox, Wanjiru Thuku, on all platforms. Asanteni and all the best. Again, watch and subscribe to Wanjiru Thuku Network on YouTube. It's a health channel. It's going to be beneficial to you, to your loved ones, and everybody around you. Asanteni sana.
We've come to the end of today's program. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. Remember, you can watch previous episodes in the same channel, and as you do that, please remember to subscribe. Thank you very much to Cheche Bookshop, where we shot this program, and thank you very much to the awesome crew who help in making all this fit to be what it is. Thank you. I'm your host, Empress Ciku Mwaniki. See you next time. Bye-bye.